I haven't drunk enough water yet today. So in last Friday's Carb Confessions episode, I announced that I was taking away some of the coaching programs that I have been offering in the past. I was no longer going to be offering a standard run coaching program, and I was no longer going to be offering a standard nutrition coaching. Anyone who had already purchased packages and is working with me is going to still work with me until they no longer wish to or the program ends. But moving forward, I am going to be doing more one-on-one coaching. So if you want to be coached by me for nutrition or run coaching or whatever, you can purchase a one-on-one training call or series of calls, and I'll work with you that way. Because I'm not doing that standard coaching package anymore for nutrition, I thought today I would just straight up tell you how much food you should be eating. These calculations are based on an active person, and what I mean by an active person is if you are someone who is most days either getting 10,000 steps or are working out, you count as an active person. So there are 3 macronutrients that we concern ourselves with. The 4th, which sometimes is called a macronutrient, sometimes not, is water. And yes, you probably need to drink more water, as do I. But as far as this video, we're going to be talking about protein, fats, and carbs. Talking about all of these with people many times before, so bear with me if you've heard those other rants, but you should still stay tuned for this one. We're going to start with protein. Protein is usually the easiest one to figure out for people because once you figure it out, you figured it out. It doesn't really change a whole lot. For an active person, when I'm setting macros, I go with the ratio of 0.7 to 0.1 grams per pound. So if you were a 100-pound person, let's just make the math easy, I would probably start you at 70 grams of protein, and depending on your activity level and what type of things you are involved in, you may work up to 100 grams, but 70 grams is where I would start. So if you know what your weight is, multiply that by 0.7 and you will have an idea of how many grams of protein you should be eating a day. Now, the caveat to that is if you are currently eating 30 grams of protein, you do the calculation and find out you should really be eating 120, like don't go to 120 tomorrow. Let's slowly increase over time. So maybe for the next week you work on getting 50 grams of protein per day, and then the following week you work up to 60 or 70, and then 80, 90, and just slowly incrementally work your way up. Because let me tell you, if you go from eating an average of 30 grams of protein a day to 120 in a matter of a day or two, you are going to be constipated, you're going to feel like you never want to eat again, and you're going to want to shoot me. So just slowly work your way up. As your body gets used to having the protein it needs, it will function better, you will feel better, and you'll be able to eat more. I know that that sounds like a lot of protein. I eat 140 grams of protein a day, but I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat a couple servings of meat a week. I do pretty much keep the dairy industry alive all on my own. There are lots and lots of protein sources. Your body needs protein in order to function, in order to have muscles. So protein, 0.7 to 1 gram per pound. The second easiest macro to set is your fats. And your fat calculation is going to be 0.5 to 0.6 grams per pound of body weight. That 100-pound person, they are going to eat 50 to 60 grams of fat per day. Once again, if you're only eating 10 grams of fat per day, don't just like dive into a bucket of butter to get up to 50. You gradually work your way up. So when you're doing this, try to focus on healthier fats, things like avocados and coconut oil, avocado oil, olives, nuts, seeds, all those sorts of things. Of course, you can get fat from dairy, you can get fat from meat, you can get fat from a lot of different places. There's a little bit less healthy, but it's still okay. And then you have your straight up junk food, which you want to limit, but it's still okay to have some sometimes. Like a couple potato chips never killed anybody, I don't think. The third macronutrient, and of course the most controversial, is the carbohydrate. And I'm not going to get into my whole spiel on carbs. I will link to my video on my spiel of carbs down below if you wish. For an active person, especially someone who is doing high intensity strength training, interval training, sports, has a super active job or lifestyle, what you want is between 1.5 and 3 grams of carbs per pound. So back to that 100-pound person, they are going to be consuming or should be consuming between 150 250 to 300 grams of carbs per day. That range depends on the individual. Just because you're 100 pounds, don't say, oh, I can start eating 300 grams of carbs. That is a very specific person. My advice is to start at the lower end of that. So start off more in the 1.5 grams of carbs per body weight and see how your body reacts. Some people can't tolerate as many carbs as other people. Some might have to stay at the lower end. Some may find that they're starving at 1.5 and have to go closer to the 3. Some might be somewhere in between, looking for higher quality carbohydrates, vegetables, whole grains, things like that, especially taking those starchy carbs closer to where your activity is, eating things like pasta and potatoes and breads and all of that before or after your training session. If you are someone who is active all day long, has an active job, you can sort of eat those starchy carbs anytime at all because you're continuing to use them. Again, these calculations are based on an active person. If you are sedentary, you are not going to be eating this much. So many people are under eating that even just focusing on getting your protein up and then focusing on getting those healthy fats up could be all that you need to find yourself at a whole lot healthier place. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you have any questions at all, please let me know. If you do feel like you need to have a coaching call with me, send me a message or send me an email. I don't have the option up on my website yet, but it will be there soon, and I would love to help you out. One last time, 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight, 0.5 to 0.6 grams of fat per pound of body weight, 1.5 to 3 grams of carbohydrates per pound of body weight, and lots of water. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.